Hello students, and welcome back for another episode with your favorite Project Lead the Way instructor, Mr. Spaeth. At this point, you should have your exploded view of your terrain all done. Notice on mine how nothing overlaps one another. So each piece can be seen in the current view that I'm in without overlapping another piece. So make sure that's the case. And once you're done there, what we're going to do is, after saving, of course, we are going to go to New, and we are going to go to a drawing file. Okay, so again, remember to put in 1 to 1 inch, your block, your name, and we're just going to call this Train Documents. Okay, so we should see this page after doing that. What I need you to do is go over to Sheet, right-click, and go to Edit Sheet. Here we want, because we have so many different terrain parts, and I don't want 50 different pages from each student, I'm going to ask you to go to Size and click C. And then click OK. Notice we have much more space now, as identified, that our little logo on the bottom got much smaller. Okay. Another thing we can do to give us some more room is just to click New Sheet up here. Again, you're going to need to add in the 1 to 1 inch and everything else. But this will just help us to make sure that we have enough room to put everything on there. Okay, so we can go back and forth to Sheet 2. Notice it says down at the bottom 2 of 2. Then we can always go back to Sheet 1. The one that's not shown is the one that's grayed out. Okay, and again, you can verify that by just going on over here and noticing that 1 of 2 or 2 of 2. Okay, so that's how we set up our sheet. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Base and place our different views. What I'm going to do right now is just place my exploded view. Okay, and then remember, it doesn't always give you the best view right away, so the saved camera view, usually if that's how you saved it, that should be good enough to put on there. So I'm just going to I'm going to pick a spot right there, okay? And if you want this all colored in, just double click where it finally gives us that red dotted line around, double click, and then just click on our shaded portion. And notice it's all shaded in the colors and styles that I had put it in. From here, we're going to go to Annotate, and we are going to balloon each one of our parts. Now, what you don't need is every single part to have a balloon. Notice this is part number 9. I don't need to call this part number 9 and this part number 9 and this part number 9. All I really need to do is just make sure I have all my parts with a balloon. So just one part, if there's many in there, you just need to do one of them. So I have 4 wheels. I'm just going to put 1 on there, and I'm going to call it good. Okay, again, this shouldn't be very tough. Just make sure no lines are overlapping here. And we should get a really nice picture by the time we're done. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, and 9 in there. I don't believe I'm missing any others. So at that point, once I have those all in there, and I can always change where they are. So just click on right here or click on right there. You can always change where they are. That's not a big deal. Just make sure you're out of the balloon setting right here. Notice all I need to do is press Escape, and it gets out of there. The next thing we need to put down is a parts list. So just identifying each one of these parts. So parts list, select document, you're going to go to your terrain assembly or your exploded view assembly. Click OK. And this always goes up in the upper right-hand corner. Now notice I have part number and then description. Well, I'm not using description, so I don't need it. Once it's highlighted red, just right-click and go to Edit Parts List. And what we want to click on here is Column Chooser. And instead of description, we're going to remove that. Instead of description, let's just put material on there, because that might be fun to know. Okay, there's our material. We can just take that over a little bit. So notice I have wood, generic, stainless steel, lead that's on there. So it just gives us some sort of description, a little bit more than what we have right now anyway. You can move these on over if they don't look right. Just make sure it looks good. So it gives me a quantity for each one. I need 4 axle pegs, 2 linkage arms. So really, really simple, and then tells me material and item number. So it just identifies the bubbles for us. After you have this done, and again, I can just move this wherever I want. What I would like you to do is, and I'm just going to show you an example. Where did it go? There we are. So here I did this before. I put down my whole assembly, and I gave different viewpoints of it: front, back, top, side view, and then an isometric view. I made those smaller by double-clicking on the red square once it pops up and going to scale and just picking half scale. And then I just turned on this little light toggle label visibility so that this label right there came up to know that it's not 1 to 1 inch anymore. It's actually 1 to 2 inches. Okay, so just make sure if you do scale anything different that you do put that little label on there. And then from there I put down each piece and I dimensioned each piece. When we dimension, if we double click here, one of the things that's really nice is using this leader with text. So I can point at whatever I want, go continue, and then I can type in whatever I want using many of the different symbols that we use. So here's the deep symbol, here's the counterbore symbol, many of the different symbols, the degree symbol that we use, the diameter symbol. So very, very nice functionality if we want to do a radius, but it's not exactly telling us it's a radius, or if we need to put a depth type on there. Notice it's much cleaner than for me going over to this side and saying how deep that hole needed to be from the beginning. Much, much cleaner just to say it right over here, to say 0.75 deep. All right. Lots of different ways that we can go about doing these. Mine is just an example. I believe that I have everything dimensioned on here. If I don't, I apologize. But again, if you'll look at this one in your manual, you'll notice I have this dimensioned almost exactly like they have it in the book. If I go to my sheet number 2, here are my other ones. Now there's some, I blew these up a little bit, the pins and the linkage peg, just to show. Now notice this is exactly, almost exactly, how it's characterized in our manual for us. All right. And I typed in this 5/32 across flats, 0.111 deep, same way that it is in our manual. Some of the cutaways that I did. So notice here's my smokestack, and I did manage to cut out this portion right here. If I go to smokestack, you'll notice I use something called breakout. And breakout, I make a sketch on there, and it cuts away anything that's within that circular sketch that I made. And breakout can be found right here. Okay, so if you need to know how to use breakout, just watch this short little video that's in there. Very, very simple to do, and it gives us a picture just like our manual gives us. So here we have our wheel, which is very, very difficult to put everything in there. I used a little detail view right here. You'll notice this A view corresponds with what's shown right here. Very, very simple to use. Again, if you need to learn how to use it, just hover over and they will show you. For this piece, I used another section view, and section views can be found right here. Again, hover over if you need just a quick reminder about how these are actually used. Essentially, you're just going to draw a line through the part, and it's going to create a section view for you, which is really, really nice. Yeah, that's about it. Again, the cow catcher, probably the most difficult to do. A number of different ways that we can do this. Honestly, if we don't get the cow catcher done, I'm okay not doing that. So here's just an example of what I did. If we hover over to my cow catcher, you'll notice lots of different views that I put on there. I put an auxiliary view on right here and right here that I could dimension off of. I put, there's just a lot of different ways that I did this. Here was another section view that I put on with that little E right there. So again, just using section view over here, just clicking lines that are perpendicular to our little side window. So lots of different ways. Try it out, play with it a little bit, see if you can make yours look just like mine. I will have it printed out for students to look at. But a lot of this can be very daunting, so if you have questions, please ask your instructor. I hope you're having fun, and again, please like, link, share, or subscribe so that I can bring you more videos here for just introductory ways to start your life in Project Lead the Way. Thank you very much.